Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. You're welcome to our live stream. Hello, Buki.
Hi, Bumi. Sorry about that. I was in another meeting that I was trying to conclude, so that's why I'm just getting here. Let me just adjust my. Can
Good
you
to
see
see your
me
face.
and
Yeah,
hear
I can see
me?
you. Yeah,
Okay.
I can see you.
Okay. Sounds.
So your face is shining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So let me just do like a brief introduction, then we'll start.
Okay.
Good day, everyone. Please, as you're coming in, just like the button, share, and if you can share us, we are live. You come in, let other people come on board. And today we have a licensed person in our midst, a licensed consultant. Any question regarding your immigration status, anything you want to know about immigration, and you want to come to Canada, she's your plug. So right now, I'm not a licensed person. Disclaimer, please. I'm not a licensed person, but if you are going to rewatch anyone that missed this live and wants to rewatch, you can, and you are interested, you can always send me a mail and I would give you the contact of the host. So now I welcome our guest. Her name is Buki Anyon. Anyon. No,
Abani Wonder.
sorry about that. Buki Abaniwanda. It's just because I'm not used to the surname. I always call her Buki. I always call her Buki, so I don't know the name in my head. I'm so sorry about that.
It's
So you
fine.
have the floor, and good to have you on board. I really appreciate you for honoring my invitation.
It's good to be here. So, hi everyone. My name is Bukia Baniwanda. I am a licensed immigration consultant. I am the principal consultant at Shira Migration. We have we have two arms. We are Shira, but we have the Shira Migration for immigration. We have Shira Tutors, which caters to people that want to do their IELTS or TEF preparation for their exams.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just waiting for you to cue me in and ask me questions, so that it's interactive and people can get the value for
Okay.
spending time today.
Well, I'm not prepared for that. Okay. Okay. Regards on our questions, our topic today is the various pathways to come to Canada, right? A lot of people want to come to Canada and they find it hard. Apart from, I know a lot, some people come through students, and some other people, they want to do some business in Canada, they don't know how to go about it. And some other interesting parts that you know that is not really exposed to the society. You can just give us a brief, just give us everything you know about the pathway to come to Canada. Then perhaps
That's
maybe
a
along
very
the line.
that's a very broad question, but I will try to my best to answer that. So
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah. So
Bumi,
like
again
I don't
for
want,
thanks
sorry.
actually for having me on this live. So when it comes to coming to Canada, there are different pathways. Yes, you would have heard or seen several places where they said there are 80 different pathways to come to Canada. Now people are always wondering, so what are the 80 pathways? Those pathways are there are some that are already, for instance, the study route is one pathway. The permanent residency route to come directly has several pathways. The business migration is under the permanent residency because there's a pathway for that. There's a business migration that will go through work permits. They're different. That's where the 80 pathways. There are some that each one of the provinces has their own pathway. It all forms part of the 80 pathways that comes to Canada. Now, what option you choose will be dependent on your age, your education, your work experience, and what you're willing to do in terms of your IELTS and the French examination. Before now, when I was doing live, I never used to talk about French, but French has become a huge part. There was a time when we were talking about masters, people getting masters in 2017, 2018. That was a game changer. Now it's French. Even with your masters, after a certain age, you need French, or you need French in order to have point. So now, if you want to come the student route, obviously, if you're an undergrad, then you're obviously coming the student route. So for those of you who are watching this that have kids, you have nieces, nephew, cousins that want to come, they are 17, 18. There's no other way for them to come than to come through school. Now, when it comes to coming through school, there are schools as cheap as, Canada is affordable. So compared to, the US, compared to a lot of other countries, but affordability is different. So you need to determine if the affordability works for you. So there are different ways. If you want your child to come to Canada, you can decide that you want them to start from coming to school. There are schools that are as low as $11,000. That's the lowest you'll find. And there are schools that are expensive as 30 something thousand dollars per year. So you need to determine where your affordability falls in. If you're saying, oh, that's too expensive, I can't afford that, then maybe Canada is not where your child can come to school. Maybe they can go to other countries, and when they're done after work experience, they can come as a permanent resident. Now, if you're a postgraduate person and you've already finished school in Nigeria or even abroad, some people have finished school, they went back to Nigeria, and you want to come under the study route, then you need to look out for, a school, a program, depending on your age. If you're already in if you're there's a gap between when you finish school and now when you're going back, you need to really explain to the visa officer why this program is relevant to you. And when people need to choose a program, they need to choose a program that is in line with what they're doing. For instance, somebody that studied engineering that is now working in the bank, most times people will be like, oh, engineering is selling in Canada. I'm going to go and pick engineering masters, but they have 10 years experience working as a banker. You can't do that unless obviously you're saying you're in a role in the bank that is related and you're saying, I want to go for financial engineering. I want to go for an analytical course that is related. So those are things, factors you need to consider when you're doing it, because you have to think about your study visa, application, because it starts with that from the application part of it. So start from the school path, and then pick the right program, and the right program will lead you to the right school, and then putting together your application. So that's one pathway, the study route. The other route, major route, obviously, is coming directly as a permanent resident. So how do you come from Canada, from Nigeria to Canada as a permanent resident? You can come through the express entry. That's the most popular one that is open to every single person, if you meet the requirements. And with the way it's been set up now, if you do the right things, before the cutoff age used to be around 32, but now with the French option, the cutoff age has gone to as high as 41 years if you do French. So if you have a master's, you do French, you can come. at 41, even up to 41 years old through express entry. Now, after 41, does that mean that there's no option for you? Absolutely not. You can now start to look at provinces. So even before 41, there are people that would need to um there are people that would need to, apply on up, through the provinces. But if you are past 41, you have a master's, you've done your French, then you now need to start looking at provinces. So you need to look at, Saskatchewan. If you've done French, you need to look at New Brunswick. If you've done New Brunswick is bilingual and you don't need any requirements, you don't need job requirements. If you're bilingual, New Brunswick is going to give you a provincial nomination without you having ties. New Brunswick is one of those provinces that require you to have ties, but because they are the only official bilingual province in the country, they are willing to give people that are bilingual. So you cannot go wrong, at least for the next maybe 1-2 years, with doing French. After 2 years, it may just become a normal thing like any other thing. Places like Ontario are also doing for just French speakers. Places like Saskatchewan are giving you 10 points, compared to the 70 points is now 80 points, for you just having French. So there's so many opportunities that you get with French. If you're
Sorry,
32 and on,
before you continue, let me ask. That is, are you saying if someone is 41 year old, or is the 41 just a figure?
so the 41 is like kind of like the cutoff age for express entry. So
41.
that's where like
I thought it used to be between the ages of 20 to 31 years old.
yes. So it used to be without French. So
Okay.
if you have a master's and you're 32 and under, depending on your, on even the kind of work experience you have, you still have opportunity for um what's it called? You still have opportunity to come under express entry just with your IELTS, but you have a master's. If it's second certificate, less than 30. But however, if you say, okay, I don't want to come to school in Canada, it's too expensive for me. I don't have money for business migration. What's the other option to come in legally to Canada? French will boost you up to 41 years of age under
Wow.
express entry, but you can still use French up to 50 years of age for a province like Saskatchewan.
Wow.
With 10 years of work experience, even at 50, if you get the right score on your IELTS, on your French exam, by the time you put all of those things together, you will be at 76 points. The last draw they did was 72 points.
Wow.
They did a
For
draw
for
just
the
this
for the
week and it was
Saskatchewan
72. So if somebody
provincial
was
nominee.
a 50, sorry, not 70, a 50-year-old person and they got the right score in their French, which gave them, even if they got like, because the lowest score you can get in French is like will give you 8 points. So even if you get that score and it gives you 8 points and you get all the other points and maybe you're losing 4 points on age, you're still going to get 74 points.
Is it for the
74.
is it
So
for
if they
the
had done that draw, you would still have been invited. So French expands
yeah.
your option. It takes you from I do not qualify. Yes. Does it take work? Yes. But the question now is how important it is for you to come to Canada without spending. So again, if that is not an option for you, then some people are older and they have money, they can come and invest. They're in their 40s, they already have managerial experience, they can come and invest. So you can choose the investment route.
Okay. So I want to take you back to the other stuff. The 41, like the one you said that they're 41 years and above they can do. Are you referring to SIMP? That's the professional nominee, or express entry.
So I'm referring to both. So for
Okay.
people that are 41. So let's say you are already above 32 and express entry is not working for you. Between that period and 41, you can use French under express entry. If you're above 41, you may not, because the maximum points you can score is like 477,
Okay.
right, at 41 years of age. So if you're at 472, you may still be invited, but it might be causing it too close. So a 42-year-old person would also most likely still be able to get invited. But that's kind of like the hallmark. under express entry. However, if you're considering, if you're above that age and you have a master's, you have 10 years of experience and all of those things, then the province of Saskatchewan now becomes open to you.
Wow, is even hot cake here where I am because I'm in Saskatchewan.
Yes, it is hot cake in your
It's hot cake
province.
right now.
It's
Wow.
also hot cake in New Brunswick
Wow,
because it's the
interesting.
only official bilingual province in the country.
Wow. Okay, so how can someone, what type of French do they need for someone watching us and we want to take the next step? Is it the normal school French or the normal
No, so just the same.
français,
So
le
the same way you
français
have
or
to write, the same way you and I are speaking English, and you still have to write IELTS. It's the same way that for TEF, for French, it's called TEF. The exam name is called TEF. So
okay,
typically,
what's the
you
full
need
name
a
of TEF?
minimum of, if you are not even, you've never spoken French, a lick of French before, or you only did the one we did, Je m'appelle,
Je m'appelle
Monsieur,
Bonjour,
you only
oui,
did those ones
oui.
in junior secondary school. That means you don't know French at all, and you need to start. You need a minimum of 6 months. On average, if you're serious with it, if you study for 6 months, on average, and you're seriously, it's not just like you're studying, like you're doing your assignments, you're practicing on your own, you're attending all your classes, taking it very seriously, you would be able to finish classes and be able to write your exam in like the 7th month, after your classes are done, or at least the 8th month. So that's what, so they need to still take the French exam in order to have the points that they can now use towards their express entry or provincial nomination.
Wow, that's interesting. So, wow, I didn't know that I'm to ask the questions. I would have written them down, right? I thought it's just going to be straight up conversation like that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's still a conversation. So that's why you said conversation. So I need you to prompt me with the questions as because I'm answering. So you need to then, so that your audience can also be able to. And if people are dropping questions, then I can also answer from
yeah,
there.
there are not too many people watching us, but let's see, maybe before finish, maybe more people will come. Like the TEF, the French exam. With is it with 6 months exam? Can they pass the exam? What's the exam like? Is it objective? Is it theory? Is it like IETS exam?
Yes, it's like
Oh,
IELTS exam, so, and it's just the same way. There's listening, there's speaking, there's reading, there's writing. It's, that's the way it is. It's just like that exam, right? So, and then um there's the objective, all the questions apart from the writing is also objective, like you're picking your things, speaking, you're speaking. And can people pass it? Absolutely. We've seen people pass it with not even the lower score. People have passed it at the highest, and depending on your age, some people only need the minimum. So know what your criteria is and what you need, and then you can go from there.
okay. So can we talk about a lot of people? God, sorry about that. I have people
Yeah, just go
first.
ahead, just ask your question.
Yeah. Can we talk about like for example, can we talk about IETS? How easy is the IETS exam? Like for example, anyone that wants to do the express entry exam, like what's the minimum score they need to get to the express entry for the government of Canada to put them in the pool? And yeah, that's it.
So IELTS is not difficult. It's just like I always say, it's just
Sorry,
like
before you
any.
continue, IELTS that you're saying is not difficult. Well, it might not be difficult, but I remember back then in Nigeria when I did.
Mhm.
Then I don't know. It used to be TOEFL. Is there still TOEFL?
Yes, but you can't use SOFO towards immigration.
Okay, we can't use TOEFL through immigration.
Mhm.
Okay, but then I used to do. Then I wrote TOEFL, and I know TOEFL and IETS they are kind of similar, right? And I didn't pass that TOEFL then, no. But IETS exam, people tend to do it, but they don't get it. Like now, if you get in speaking, you get 5.2 in Writing, you get 8.5. In what else again?
Reading?
In reading, you get maybe 6.5. Then the remaining two, you get maybe 7 points or 8 points. The person did not pass, right? Because
No,
of
no,
the
no, 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 no. So the person still passed. So
okay. There's a question here
it's
for
not like they didn't pass. It's just that they don't, it will not give them a lot of points, right? It's just not going to give them a lot of points because by the time you're looking at that 6.5, because they also have a criteria, right? Listening carries the highest point. Reading, followed by reading and then writing and speaking, right? They've put a criteria on all of these things. So it's not like if you score what you just did, you still scored. If you were going to school, it would not be a problem. But because you're competing with other people, it's a point-based system. If you have that, there will be a score. If you have lower than that, there will be a score. If you have higher than that, there will also be a score. So it's not about passing or failing, it's about do you have enough points?
oh
So
yeah,
sometimes you need
okay.
to work extra hard. It's not about whether the person failed. The person did not fail. If you put your thing into the extra century, that result, you will get points. It's just that that points will not be enough. So that's where people need to know. And yes, I understand that you said you wrote TOEFL, you didn't pass. But the question is, have people studied, do their own study? I've met people that their English is not, when you hear them speak but you see their IELTS result, it is fantastic. It is amazing because it's not about putting on an accent, it's about how well you can read and pass because it's just like
Interact.
any other exam. Once you can identify how to address it, then definitely you'll be able to know exactly where to go from there. So it's not a difficult exam. You just need to study like any other thing. If you need to study for 2 months, then study for 2 months. If you know that you are not that, for me, I'm not a fast learner. So sometimes I need to learn something for a
Yeah,
long
same
time.
here.
So
I'm
if you're
not a
that kind of
fast learner
person,
too. I'm not
yeah,
a
so
fast
if you're
learner.
that kind of person, then you know that you have to study. And I tell people, like I've had clients who have written exams and they basically like the weekends before their exam, they did not go out to party, nothing. They were home studying like any other exam. So you have to be willing to sacrifice something to achieve your goal.
Okay. Sorry, before we ask this question, let's talk about um because I remember what about if someone has HND,
Mm-hmm.
the Polytechnic, and I remember there was a time some people wrote the exam of ICM exam. If you don't want to write that ICM exam, can you write the French instead? Or
Yes, you can write the French instead. So let's say somebody has a bachelor's, because even the person that is writing the ICM may or may not still need French. Right.
oh,
So the French exam, so for instance, for people that have only a bachelor's, we do encourage them rather than going to do a second certificate because it will not make any difference. Like it will make a difference, but it's not so much because by the time you turn 30, that points doesn't make a difference anymore. You're back to struggling with points. So we do tell such people that you can go for French instead because with the French, you get up to 74 points. If, for instance, you have only a bachelor's and you're considering which one should I do, French will give you 74 points. Masters will give you 32 points. Second certificate will give you 25 points. So which one do you want to go for?
you go for the French.
So it depends. If you're less than 30 and you know I can get perfect scores in my IELTS, or I'm in a field that is a technology field, Ontario can invite me. Those kind of things make a difference for you in terms of how you now decide, which option that you want to go for.
Okay. We have a question. What pathway is available for a graduate who just finished NYSC, considering the high tuitions, and what process will it take? Sorry,
So
before you
for
answer
someone,
this.
so for
Sorry,
someone
sorry,
like
before
this,
you answer this.
yeah.
Uh, Number one, we need to know the age of the person because I usually advise people that wants to come to Canada to study. I usually advise them that if they qualify for express entry, I think they should go for the express entry because it will save them enough money because of the
Mm-hmm.
high tuition fee. When you come here as a PR, there are a lot of benefits if you get your PR card. So that is what I advise. But as the experts, the floor is for
So,
you.
so I do have a similar point of view. when it comes to this also, because I do tell people, if you can, if for someone like this who's just a graduate and has finished NYC, you need 3 years of work experience. If you don't have up to 3 years and you only have 1 year, depending on if your NYC experience is actually very strong, like if it's a professional job and you can get references for it, you can use it. Then what you can do is you can do French. If the tuition in Canada is too much for you, do French. French is going to boost your points. With 1 year experience from NYC, you can boost your points. Or you wait for 2 years, gain 2 more years of work experience, do a second certificate, and then be ready. But if you're a graduate, a BSc graduate, then I recommend that you do French. It's the fastest option, because instead of you going to do a second certificate and then still doing so many other things, you can just do French to boost yourself in addition to doing your IELTS. So IELTS is a standard, for whatever pathway, in addition to doing so you can decide if you're less than 30, you want to do a second certificate. If you're already close to 30, you're looking at a master's, but that master's option will take you longer. So if French might be your option, plus your 1 year experience, you write your IELTS, you're good to go.
Okay, that's nice. Then can we talk about as the provisional nominees? Like if someone wants to come to Calgary, because a lot of people, most of my friends back home, they've been coming to Canada. I mean Calgary. Most of them are in Calgary. Like my school that we graduated in school together, and recently I found out that they're in Calgary. And I noticed that we are the same age group. How did they come to Calgary? Did they come through PR, or what is the special thing about Calgary that a lot of people are saying that Calgary is the next, as in they are really hyping Calgary now, that is the main city to be. And yesterday I was listening to my phone on news, and I found out that Netflix is coming to Canada. Netflix, they're coming to Canada, and someone was like, "Please bring Netflix to Calgary. Calgary is where to be. Please don't put the head office in Toronto, because they're asking now where should their head office be." So, what's special about Calgary that most people are going to Calgary for?
So I'm biased because I live in Calgary. So I'm going to definitely be biased. I think that Calgary is a great city. I think the reason why a lot of people may choose Calgary is in all the busy, I would say there are there are three major busy cities or populated cities across Canada. It's Toronto for sure, number one, Vancouver, and then Montreal. But Calgary, in terms of Calgary, is not as big as any of these cities, but Calgary is still a bit, lively. It still has all the things that these other big cities have, but with a lesser traffic, with more affordable housing, with you know maybe job prospects might not be as much, but if you are also depending on your field and you're also looking out and applying for remote work, then you have a very good opportunity.
Because I know someone that got a remote job recently in Calgary. The person
So you
has
can get
not
a
been
remote
working.
job and live in Calgary and live the kind of get a remote job that somebody in Toronto who is paying double of what you're paying is getting, and you have a better life, a better standard of life, lower cost than that person. So that's why sometimes, and it's a good place. It's really, really a very good place to raise kids. So people are picking Calgary because Calgary is not, when it comes to places to live, I mean, it's not, no offense to Saskatchewan, no offense to Manitoba, no offense to all of these amazing places, but it can get quite boring because those places are not that lively. But Calgary at
Ah,
least is kind of like in the middle. So
so you mean the social life in Calgary is
I mean, the social life is also still, but the social life is better than in Saskatchewan or in Manitoba. But obviously, by all means, I'm not saying people that are watching, please, if that's where your immigration pathway is, please, by all means, go there. Because I know people that were like, oh, Saskatchewan is too boring a few years ago, and they're begging now that they wish that opportunity was here now. So don't discard a province because you think it's boring. It's a sacrifice. It's 2 years, three
yeah.
years you stay there, and then you can decide
Yeah,
to
you
move to
can,
Toronto
yeah,
if you want
yeah,
to.
if you want to. Exactly. So can we talk a bit about the entrepreneur scheme?
Yes, so the entrepreneurial stream, there is. the most popular one is the owner operator, which is for people that want to buy into an existing business and you'll be operating it. Then there's also the pathway where it's just entrepreneurial streams. Every province has a different entrepreneurial stream, but the owner operator is the same across the provinces. There are two ways to go about the owner operator. You can do a $50,000 investment, $100,000 minimum is about $50,000. $100,000 investments is usually like the most the median range, and then there's also the $250,000 investment. Now, what are the differences between this? If you do a $250,000 investment, you can apply, you can get 200 points right away and apply for your permanent residency. If you invest less than this amount of money, then you're not able to get the 200 points right away. You will have to go through work permit. You can come with your family though, and then after 1 year, you'll now be able to apply for a permanent residency.
Residents. So I've been hearing from the research I've done. I've been hearing that okay, New Brunswick they're encouraging, I think, student entrepreneurs that if you're a student and you're in New Brunswick, I think they're going to is an automatic PR or something. I don't really understand that.
So it's
Is it
still
only
going to
in New
go,
Brunswick or
yeah.
Nova
So
Scotia?
so it's still going to go through a certain pathway, right? So if you're in New Brunswick, even in Alberta started something like that. If you're a student, or a past student and you start up your business, they'll give you a nomination, right? But like you're obviously investing money. If you're in New Brunswick, you start up your business, then but there's still like all they can give you is provincial nomination, right? You still need to go and apply to the government and then get your permanent residency, but they can give you provincial nomination. So they've created a pathway for such people.
Okay,
Excuse me.
sorry.
Yeah. So they've created a pathway for such people to be able to, if they're students and they can get that. I will also say that for new no for so it exists in Alberta, it exists in New Brunswick, and then in some form in other provinces, but some you don't need to be a student, because if you're a student it means you've already spent money in school and you're still investing money. You can come directly from Nigeria under a work permit. Your spouse goes under an open work permit while you are working on your own business, and you can then qualify for provincial nomination a year after, or even go through extra century a year after.
Okay. I was going through your Instagram page and you mentioned there that one can come through Canada from Nigeria to come and do your high school, like
Yeah.
secondary school. How is that possible? I mean, that's for the first time. Because I
Really?
believe,
No, you
yeah,
can
because
definitely come, and you can start from grade 9. Most of the options are available from grade 9. And from grade 9, so grade 9 will be GSS 3, to grade 12, which is SS 3. So you can start from grade 9 to grade 12. And you know, again, it's possible once you finish your school, you finish high school, then you just go from there and move into university, apply for an extension of your work study permit, and then you move into university.
what's the cost like?
I think on average some schools are about $12,000 per year.
Is it in all provinces
No,
or just
no, it's
specific
not all
provinces?
provinces. There are some select provinces that have this option.
Okay, please, can you mention them?
I don't know them on. I know Ontario has. I know Manitoba has. I'm not sure if Alberta has. But there are some select provinces. I don't know. There are not a lot of schools. It's not like a university, so there are not a lot of schools. I think there are probably maybe 10. Because it has to be a boarding school, right? Because it's a
Yeah, boarding
province.
school.
So I think maybe there are 10.
I didn't
Um,
know there was boarding school in Canada.
yeah, it's a boarding school because that's what there are ones that but mostly international students go to these boarding schools.
Okay. So for example, can someone in Nigeria get like a direct job from Canada and come to Canada instead of coming through express entry or that?
So yes
Because I
and
know
no.
it's hard to get jobs like
So
that, but
yes
is
and
it
no.
possible?
Can you get it? Is it possible? Absolutely, it is possible. Anything is possible. But the reality is it's very tough to get. It is very possible, but it's very tough to get. So You would most likely, for most people, you most likely need somebody who is on ground here, who lives here, that can help you search, meet with employers to help you do that. Or you would need to connect with an international recruitment firm to help you do that. But the reality is, most of the time, it is really, really tough to get a job. So if somebody is promising you, don't worry, I'll get you a job for 5 million, and they live in Nigeria, just know that that thing is a lie.
That's scam.
It's a
Scam as
scam. I spoke to someone last week, 5 million. I'm like, okay, and that's what she's paid because somebody promised her a
She paid
job offer.
that amount.
Yeah,
Why
five
can't she
million.
pay that amount to apply for
So
express entry
and
or
this is somebody that qualifies for everything. So that's why you just have to
information
be
is
careful.
key. Yeah,
So
information.
you just have to be careful. If somebody is saying telling you you can give you 5 million, just 5 million, or they can, if it's 5 million, they can get you a job. They will also be in Canada if they can do it.
Of
Right.
course.
So is it possible? It's very possible. It's a lot of work. It's like a full-time job looking, how full-time job you were looking for a job when you got into Canada. So talk more of somebody that is outside of Canada. It's not an easy route to go through. Is it possible? It's very possible. But most times employers, big companies will employ a recruitment agency. So those times, like if you connect with those international recruitment agency, then they can help you. But there are some jobs, like some IT jobs, that the companies will even tell you they don't hire from Nigeria or Africa. They only hire from India or from
Really?
Asia. So
Why?
yes, because that's how they've been built up. There are some companies that they only cater to Brazil, they only cater to European countries. There's some countries they only cater to different, you know, continents, right? So you need to know there's some countries they'll be there that these are the only, because these are the employers that they are working with, that only hire from those places. So you just need to know, do your research, look for an international recruitment agency that is willing to work with you. They don't charge because the employers pay them, but you need to go and look for such.
Hmm. Okay. What other question do I have to ask again? We still have like, it's a 1 hour event. We still have
So
few
we don't have to
minutes.
spend the entire 1 hour. I think we've pretty much covered most things.
Yeah, I know.
Um, yes, we've pretty much covered most things. People um just get the right information based on your age, based on everything. If get the right information, we're available here if you want to pay, for our services. But
Yeah,
if
you
not,
have to pay
do
for
your
consultancy
research.
fee. Yeah. So thank you so much. I think I don't have any other question. But if you are watching this and you have additional questions, you need to. That is why information is key. To get our madam here, it's not easy, oh. And she's here giving us free tips like this. So I'm so sorry. If you are interested in in any additional information, you have to book a consultancy fee. You have to book a consultancy meeting so that you can get more information on this. So if you need anything, just send me a mail or use comment in the comment section, and I would link you up with her. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Bumi.
Yeah,
Take care now.
yeah. Bye.
Bye.
So that was our licensed person. So I don't know. This information was here a long time and only few people attended. But let's come up. Let us show up for events. Oluwa Dumisi, Steve, thanks for coming on board. So I will leave this running for a while before I shut down. Scusa, va? Scusa, va? Now, take the color show face. I need to continue. I don't want your face to show. Don't know if you got it. Stop it now. Yeah.